Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You guys hear me out there? Morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody woke up today, right? We're on this side of the ground, which is a good thing. Uh, what a week. We made it, guys. We made it through the week. Can you believe that? I'm, this was a bad week. This took a lot out of everybody. Oh, all right. Where we go right here. We save this. I'm just getting some documents so we can chit chat about them because I have not seen. Okay, next. Do, do, do. No, save that. Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Um, nice, nice. Um, you really gotta. We're all in like uncharted territory here, right? I'm just going through this stuff, and the people on the freaking internet, you guys out there, if we had a law service and we used all the internet for research, right? Boom, case solved. Just go do the legal stuff, all the legal work after that, all the data stuff. You guys are just wow. I'm not sure you guys have seen this. And I don't know the validity of this stuff. I'm taking it for being good. Um, do this. There we go. Motions. I don't want that. All right. Mouse. What's up with the mouse? It doesn't like what I'm using. Better. Still gonna fix it. Uh-huh. Okay. Now let's go show you some documents. Let's open this one. Okay. This is when you start a business, anybody can start a business. You can make it an LLC, which is a limited liability corporation. Um, you can make it a C corporation, which is then you have president, vice president, secretary. Um, and I think there's another one. I'm not sure. I know about the C corp because I'm in one of those, and I know what an LLC is. Then there's a nonprofit, which is a 5013C. Started one of those. Um, Now, if me and Glenn Lake, for example, good morning, Glenn. If me and Glenn wanted to open a business and we were gonna build muscle cars, in order to take money and do business as a business, we have to form a corporation in the state of Massachusetts. It can be a sole proprietorship, which means like Glenn Lake's the owner. He owns it all, and everything is him. Money goes through him. Taxes go through him. Insurance goes through him. Or you make it an LLC, which whereas there are different people at different levels in the corporation. There's no liability. The liability goes on the company itself. Um, Boom. What we have here is an LLC, which allows all these people to get together and form a company, like me and Glenn. We're going to build cars. These guys are doing what's their expertise, right? What is their expertise? What do I do with the stupid folder? Okay. This. This is it. Business entity summary. Okay. This is a summary for Expert Data Analysis LLC. That's the name of the company. Expert Data Analysis. Pretty cool. It's a LLC Corp. There's their ID number. It got canceled. It got created on this day, canceled on this day. This is the address where the mail went to, like the insurance, stuff like that. This is the registered agent, William J. Whitfield. This is his address. It's River Street. Same as that. Manager, Mr. Whitfield. Another manager, Colleen Crawford. 94 Lake Drive, Stoughton, Mass. And the other manager is John M. Fanning, 46 Arthur Drive. I'm sorry, Arthur Matthew Drive. So you're telling me that Fanning and Crawford had a business on the outside doing data analysis. And she was doing work at the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. I'm pretty sure that's a conflict of interest. I'm pretty positive that's a conflict of interest. She's got a business with Fanning on the side doing data stuff. So if that's the case, right? And ignorance is not the excuse now, is it? If you're that proficient with data. And wait a minute, you were involved with the Canton Police Department getting data from the DVR, right? And the inverted video that you submitted. Boy, I'm not sure it's going to look good in the resume, you know? That's just me. Jeez. Okay, we got more data, more stuff. What else we got here? Data cancellation was February 2nd, 2022. February 2nd. When was that? When was February 7th? Let's find out when that was. January 29th, John O'Keefe died, right? It was 29 days. 30, 31. Boy, it sure looks like they canceled or dissolved the company right after Karen was arrested. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Right here. Date of cancellation. Wow. Right there. I don't understand. Why? But what, the business wasn't working? Did they have like a stockbrokers meeting or a shareholders meeting where they all got together and decided that this business just got to close up right now? And just dissolve it all? Like that's kind of strange to me. I mean, what are the odds, right? What are the odds of that? What's this? Commonwealth of Massachusetts. All right. Expert data analysis. Let's see what the Google machine says about that. Okay. Okay. Why is it coming up to this? It keeps coming back to this. Here we go. Shit, you like this one. Okay. This is expert data analysis website, right? Okay, yeah. Guided discovery, risk management, QA. GoDaddy site. Managed staff augmentation. Just when you need that right person in the right spot to do what you need to get done. If this is even the same freaking thing, can't be. No. Let me check who is. One second. So we want to do this. All right, let me share the stream. So we're going to look up who owns the domain name. Okay. It's registered March 4th, 2018. Someone bought that domain name right there. That's the day that that name was bought. Expires in a couple of years. Updated. So that means it's locked. Ooh, that's a low number. That's a really low number. All right. No. Doesn't really tell me what I wanted. Me. All right. Nope. Okay. So, I mean, stop that. I find it really odd that they canceled or they got rid of the business February 2nd. That's that's a little odd. All right. So, let me share this screen. This got sent to me too. Is it a window? Yeah. Okay. This is about um the rear tail light of Karen's SUV here, and it says no. If a 2021 Lexus LX570 has a broken taillight. It will not light up at all. A broken LED component within the taillight assembly means the affected section of the light will not function, leaving a dark spot where the broken LED should be shining. Dark spot. So if you look at the back of Karen's SUV, there's a very distinct dark spot. Um, Pull that up. Mhm. Everyone's been pulling this footage apart, which is absolutely fabulous. Where did it go? Why can't I find it here? Well, let's pull this up first. I want you guys to see this, which you've seen it before, but you got to see this, right? This is what they're saying her taillight is here, broken. This would all be black. There would be zero color here. Okay. That's what the answer is. This doesn't show it really. That's not what I'm looking for. Where is it? No, I'll find it. But there's no way. There's no way that that taillight can be. No, it would all be black. All of it. Close that out. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. We got some stuff I want to talk about with my friend. I'm not sure if I should bring it up. However, she kind of set me up. One, two, three. All right. There's three things here. Okay. I want to put this out there because this lady does an amazing amount of work. She really does. And if you're not following her, then I don't know what to tell you. She's wonderful. So this is a post that she made on Twitter, right? Since Canton Police Department Chief Rafferty would like to be in the headlines, I only find it fair to give her the attention she so desperately would like. Currently researching and reviewing for an upcoming video. To any of my Canton friends, if there's anything you would like me to include in this video, please either leave it below or message me privately. Miss Helena. 78 responses. Remember Toonsis the driving cat? I named my cat Toonsis. If you guys remember that, old school. That is old school. Man, just that alone, that makes my whole weekend. That's Toonsis. We know that 360 degrees of transparency is critical to our profession. People in positions as mine and that of elected officials should be held to a higher standard. I do acknowledge that mistrust for the Canton Police Department is there. I hear you. I believe the first step in in bridging that trust gap is effective and healthy communication. Ooh, that one's going to leave a mark. Rafferty was on the force in Casey's. Yep. 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 She's going to come out with, 200,000. That was the guy that got hit, I think. Oh, so yes, please follow, um, Boozy Beauty. This is her little tag. That's her background. You gotta follow her. She's dynamite. She's right on the money. She's factual. She's funny. She's again. We're blessed to have this much talent helping Karen Reed and help fix the justice system that's completely broken. All right, look at this one. This is another one coming soon. Biggest law enforcement scandal in history. The murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Law enforcement officers and others assaulted him and left him in the cold to die. Many conspired to frame an innocent woman. So, Canton Police, Boston Police, Massachusetts State Police, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF, as well as Michael Morrissey, who happens to be the sitting district attorney. Canton Police Chief Elena Rafferty. A leaf blower, solo cups, a stop and shop bag. No video of anything. No video of the scene. Witnesses allowed to like get together and huddle. Everything that's wrong. Oh, you know what else is wrong? How about this? How about this? Police chief publicly acknowledges hitting pedestrian more than 6 weeks later. I'm going to get more coffee. Let that sink in. You hit somebody, and 6 weeks later, you're going to go and report it. I know it was reported that day. Public official held to a higher standard. All right. So, yeah, who would get into an accident like that and you're a public official, especially in a public official in that position, and all of a sudden, what? You forget to tell people? How does that happen? I mean, have a little bit. I mean, if she stepped up and said, "Hey, I had an accident." Accidents happen. They happen to people. That's why they're called accidents. Eh, I'm sure it wasn't on purpose. It was not intentional. I'm 100% positive it was an accident. However, when you're in when you're in that position of being the police chief, setting the example, if she had come forward and said, "Hey, I got into an accident. I pray for the person. I hope he's better. If there's anything I can do," like she would get, I think she would get a lot more respect than she's getting now. I don't see how it doesn't help public confidence when you can't be trustworthy and honest with them. And now to come to find out that she witnessed footage that she knows exists and she didn't speak up and say something like, "Hey, there's more footage." That's bad. That she's conspiring with the district attorney's office to hide footage from the defense team that can prove Karen Reed's factually innocent. Like if she if she knew the existence or that there was at one time evidence at one time that she saw, she can't forget that type of stuff. She can't say that, "Hey, I don't know nothing." She actively worked with Lally to review the footage. It doesn't matter if there's nothing on it. That's not her determination to make. She's not even supposed to look at it. Here's your file. Here's your file from the DVR system. By the way, here's the entire system's backup on an external hard drive. Boom. The North Carolina cop, he was supposed to come on, but because we had court yesterday, things got way whacked out. Um, Speaking of court yesterday, did you guys hear about court? I hope so. Um, all you people are famous now. You guys are all famous. Um, they mentioned all you people in court yesterday. You know, we're all what, conspiracists. I mean, and you know, it's pretty sad, right? When Aiden can't even talk to me on the steps of a courthouse without them trying to use that against him. He's on the freaking steps of a courthouse. What more American place can there freaking be? And I'm just having a conversation with him. He has thoughts and opinions that are his. I have some that are mine, as some of you guys have your own. I don't want to impose my opinions on you people, as like Aiden doesn't impose his on me, right? He's got his own opinions. And for him not to be able to voice that on the steps of a courthouse, talk about having like an exemption or like a free kick I mean, steps of a courthouse. Uh, hey, good morning, Mr. Cosgrove. By the way, kisses for you. How can you? I mean, it doesn't matter what he says. If he said Colin did it, and if he said 227 happened, He's allowed to say those things, as is I am, as is you are. It's not illegal to voice your opinion. That's the problem here because of what it says. And it's funny. It's really funny, you know. We all know. We're in on the joke. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because this is the whole thing. And this is what's really messed up. Where is it? Oh, tell me, tell me, tell me. All right, I'm looking for it. All right. You got to hear this. Okay. Let me share this for you guys. This, not that we're sleuths or anything, right? Not that we got our little detective hats on, but you all need to listen to this, okay? This goes back. This is the whole key of the issue. I know the difference on purpose. I used to fix the scopes in the machines and the monitors that they used. I used to be in those rooms. So I've seen people's bums. Not a big deal, but all that equipment that was in that room, I had to fix, maintain, and make sure it worked properly. So when they went in to do scopes, it all worked. So with that said, this what we're gonna watch right here is the whole entire reason we're even talking about this. 100%. I'll go to my grave with this. This, I believe, is absolutely it. You ready? Here we go. Listen.
You can tell me anything you'd like, but explain to me what it is you're asking the court to do and why.
Well, I'm asking for protection from Mr. Kearney. He has started about April 18th. He's nonstop. He writes blogs every day, and every day he tries to humiliate me, harass me. Most recently, he chased me out of a court hearing and prevented me from walking, had a big camera. He was harassing me, intimidating me. I was fearing. I didn't know what he was going to do next. He chased me to my car. He was calling me a cop killer.
When you say chase, did he follow you?
Yes, he followed me out of the court and down the street a significant way.
There were other press and reporters at that event?
Yes, I actually have a thumb drive with a lot of this for you to be able to see. But he videoed the whole thing, and then he showed it on all his social media platforms. And then he proceeded to, post, "This is a cop killer, she's a cop murderer." And then on that post that he did, he said that he wasn't going to stop. He was going to harass me every day. He was going to go to my children's events.
Has he done that?
No, he has not done that yet.
Right.
He has emailed. I have 2 daughters in college, and he's emailed the school. Well, I don't know. Someone has emailed the schools, and they've attached his blog.
I understand.
So he has a significant amount of followers, and he does his live shows. And I have received terrible threats from phone calls. I get voicemails. I get Facebook messengers from his followers.
So just so I'm clear, not necessarily from him.
He called me once.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that call was, did he?
It was a
you?
voicemail. No.
Okay.
He just had questions.
All right. And I just want to make sure we're talking about the same.
Yeah.
So you may have gotten some other things from maybe people who follow him.
Yes.
But not him.
Correct.
Okay, understood.
But as of, today, he again posted that he was going to make my life a hell. He wasn't going to stop. He would come to, again, he's constantly saying he's going to come to events. He's calling me horrific names. He made T-shirts to humiliate me and my appearance,
Okay.
and he's selling them for profit. I literally wake up every single day and I don't know what he's gonna write, he parked outside of my house and he did a live feed and he threatened that he would be coming back. My kids are having panic and anxiety attacks.
Broadcasted from your street,
Mhm.
not on your property, but from your
On the
area.
street.
Okay,
Mhm.
understood.
He's given my address, my husband's social security. It's just nonstop. My kids are seeing everything all over social media. They're having panic attack at schools and I have to come and pick them up.
All right. Is there anything else you want me to consider that you
Is there
haven't told me already?
any way
Yeah.
that you can do something so he can't blog about me?
Well, no, and that's kind of the crux of where I'm about to go with this.
Yeah.
Under the request you're asking, and a significant portion, I believe, of what you're telling me is essentially protected free speech under the
Right.
First Amendment.
Mhm.
I'm sure you can appreciate he is
Mhm.
a quote unquote member of the press.
But wait, wait.
Probably not the message you were hoping to hear.
No, I
But
understand.
so that's kind of where my ruling is heading based on everything you've told me. And I know it could be upsetting to you and your family. But I have to be honest, I'm not inclined to issue the order
Mhm.
for that reason. If there's anything else that you want me to look at or consider, I'm happy to do it. If you've kind of given me the flavor of what this has been like,
Mhm.
I do appreciate it. And you went to great lengths to write a very detailed affidavit.
Mhm.
But I would need to find, by a preponderance of the evidence, a
Mhm.
substantial likelihood of the immediate danger of abuse as defined by the law. Because of the free speech issues and his status in the press, I'm just not getting there.
Okay,
based on
so
the
him
facts.
like chasing me out of court and intimidating me.
Yeah, I mean,
and
well, that's why I asked you.
yelling.
I kind of asked you that question, and you said
Yeah.
chased. I know there was probably a throng of other press people and
No,
reporters.
they'd never,
there.
he came down the street, walked in front of me, was saying terrible, nasty things, then walked behind me, then followed me to my car. I mean, it was a good distance.
Yep.
I couldn't even make it across the street because he was in front of me. He was bumping into my husband. Then we're getting into our car and he's yelling, cop killer, cop killer. I didn't know if he was going to come over to my car. I don't know what this man's going to do.
Right.
He seems to be getting more and more agitated every day and saying he's going to do things. Then I see live video outside of my house and telling me he'll be back.
Well, what I will say to that is, and I'm not wishing that this escalates in any way, shape, or form,
Mhm.
but just because an event today comes before the court and the court rules one way, doesn't
Mhm.
mean that if there is a change in circumstances, that you can't come back and ask the court to consider it in
Mhm.
the future. I'm just not hearing enough of what I would need to hear under the law for me to do what you're asking today.
Okay.
Okay, I hope I explained that well enough to you.
And the thumb drive that I prepared.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly tell me, is it things that one would see on his news or his page,
Yes.
things of that nature,
Mhm.
and kind of like you've described in your affidavit? I
Mhm.
mean, I'm happy to have that be part of the record. I think I
Mhm.
get the flavor again of what you're telling me.
Mhm.
And again, his association as a member of the press really doesn't change sort of where I'm going with my ruling.
Okay.
But I'm certainly happy to include that as part of
Okay.
the record if you want.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So that will conclude the hearing. I'm going to decline your
Okay.
request to issue.
And there you go in a nutshell. That's it. Right there. Make him stop. That's what this is all about. Aiden going to jail, losing 60 days of his life, missing his kids, missing the events, thrown into prison because of that. Through Michael Morrissey. She mentioned terrible, horrible things he was saying to her. And she repeated them. Cop killer. I don't hear these terrible, awful things. What Aiden said, that him calling her a cop killer is not a terrible, horrible thing. Some people think that's a factual thing. Some people think she's involved with that all. A lot of people don't think the car did it. I'll tell you that much. And she said something else very, very telling. She said that she watched live video of people in front of her house. That means she wasn't there. She was somewhere else. She wasn't at her house if she watched live video through the Ring camera. She wasn't home. Wow. And then yesterday, wait a minute, yesterday, holy Jesus. Did Alan Jackson like destroy the Commonwealth with data? You're telling me that the Commonwealth has all of the data? Let me find that. Let me go to YouTube and get it. Yeah, the Commonwealth had all this data. I don't know how they get away with that. How do they not? I was talking to Scott McGinnis about this, right? In order to go, for example, in order to get charges on somebody, right? Like theft, there's certain things you have to, legal wise, there's certain things you have to go through to, oh, come on, in order to meet the standards of that crime. There's certain pillars you have to follow. And they're not. They're absolutely not. And I don't know how they get to where they are. Cause like I was telling Scott, you just can't, like, you need actionable this, that to get to this. And he no. Let's do this real quick. I want to go to AJ. If you guys don't mind. A little bit of AJ in the morning. All right. All right. This is him. All right. Let me share this. And I'm gonna try and write down all the things that are wrong. All the things that
security operations in this case. It is reasonable to conclude from that statement that Fanning was either directly in charge of the jurors, which the court is now telling me he
Fanning.
wasn't. Again,
You were told that at sidebar
No.
that day by Ms. McLaughlin.
No, we were not. We were told.
I have the transcript.
Well, Your
Oh.
Honor, what we were told is what his title was. Commander of the extensive security operations of the court. So we reasonably concluded that he was either directly in charge of the jurors or in charge of the people who were in charge of security of the jurors. But we were never allowed the opportunity to find out exactly what his role was because the court didn't take evidence, refused our request at the time in good faith. Both Mr. Unetti and I asked the court to take evidence from Lieutenant Fanning. The
I think
court
it was Ms.
declined.
Little.
I'm sorry?
I think it was Ms. Little who asked me to.
And what was the court's response? The court's response was to decline that invitation. We didn't take any evidence, which would have drawn down on the issue, so I wouldn't have to make reasonable conclusions. I would actually have the information. So of course, that's one of the issues that is attendant to our motion to dismiss, because it seems wildly inappropriate. Here's what we do know
the breathing got to
about
stop,
Lieutenant
Bev.
Fanning. Once his name was uttered, here's what we did know. He's among the troopers that is one of Michael Proctor's supervisors. He interviewed several prosecution witnesses who testified at trial against Miss Reed, including Laura Sullivan, Marietta Sullivan, Bridget Meehan, Heather Maxson. He interviewed all of those individuals, or took part in those interviews.
Fanning.
Lieutenant Fanning was at the defendant's home and seized her cell phone in January of 2024, just months before the trial began. Lieutenant Fanning was included on the text chain where Trooper Proctor said he was going through my client's phone looking for nudes. And then his name comes up at sidebar as the commander of the extensive security operations attendant to this case. And he's the source to whom something was reported about juror misconduct. When you couple those two things together, that he's the commander of security and a person who supposedly, through hearsay, overheard a juror making statements about the case, and they have an entire myriad of individuals to whom they could report it, they report it to Fanning. and then Fanning reports it to the court officer who reports it to the court, it is not unreasonable to conclude that he was at least within the orbit of the security operations governing the jurors, which is exactly why we put it in our papers. And without additional information clarifying that, we have no way of knowing that he wasn't involved or didn't have any direct.
I gotta pause this for a second, guys. I want to just go back a little bit. He said it went to Fanning and then to the court officer. Is that what I heard? Real quick here. I just trying to make sure that's correct.
I think it was
declined.
Miss Little.
I'm sorry?
I think it was Miss Little who asked me to.
And what was the court's response? The court's response was to decline that invitation. We didn't take any evidence, which would have drawn down on the issue, so I wouldn't have to make reasonable conclusions. I would actually have the information. So of course, that's one of the issues that is attendant to our motion to dismiss, because it seems wildly inappropriate. Here's what we do know about Lieutenant Fanning. Once his name was uttered, here's what we did know. He's among the troopers that is one of Michael Proctor's supervisors. He interviewed several prosecution witnesses who testified at trial against Miss Reed, including Laura Sullivan, Marietta Sullivan, Bridget Meehan, Heather Maxson. He interviewed all of those individuals, or took part in those interviews. Lieutenant Fanning was at the defendant's home and seized her cell phone in January of 2024, just months before the trial began. Lieutenant Fanning was included on the text chain where Trooper Proctor said he was going through my client's phone looking for news. And then his name comes up at sidebar as the commander of the extensive security operations attendant to this case, and he's the source to whom something was reported about juror misconduct. When you couple those two things together, that he's the commander of security and a person who supposedly, through hearsay, overheard a juror making statements about the case, and they have an entire myriad of individuals to whom they could report it. They report it to Fanning, and then Fanning reports it to the court officer who reports it to the court. It is not unreasonable to conclude that he was at least within the orbit of the security operations governing the jurors, which is exactly why we put it in our papers.
Wow.
And without additional information clarifying that, we have no way of knowing that he wasn't involved or didn't have any direct access to the jurors. If he didn't, he didn't. And that's a fact that everybody can agree on. But when we heard the information, the only reasonable conclusion we had, given the fact that he was the source of the information and he was defined as the commander of security over the entire case, not part of the case, the entire case, which includes the jury, that is a reasonable conclusion.
So you signed your affidavit 2 weeks ago when you already knew that he did not have any access to the jurors.
No, I didn't. I absolutely did
Signed
not.
and sworn under the pains and penalties of perjury this 21st day of February 2025.
Correct. On February 21st, 2025, we were still at the first time that it was mentioned that he had absolutely no access to the jurors. He never had any contact with the jurors. So we received our responsive documents from the opposition from the Commonwealth. In that document, they mentioned he never had any direct access. He didn't have indirect access. They make these claims with no verification, by the way, no declaration, no supporting evidence, no declaration from the attorneys who filed the opposition. That's the first time someone actually took the position that he had absolutely no access to any of the jurors, direct or indirect. So when we filed our papers, the information that I just told the court is the information we were working from.
I will let you move on. I can tell you, I'm really not satisfied with your answer, Mr. Jackson. Well, put it this way. Let's say it this way. So now that you know that he had absolutely no access to the jury, what's the nature of the conflict? How is your client's right to a fair trial jeopardized?
Is
Now
there
that you
evidence
know it's not true.
Is there evidence? My question to the court is there evidence that he had absolutely no access, either direct or indirect, within of the jurors. I don't know that to be true. I mean, I take the court at its word, obviously, clearly. I take
So
the court
we
at its word.
will move on from that, Mr. Jackson. We'll
but the-
move on from that. So,
Well, the court's asking what is our evidence of, or what's our indication of the impropriety of him being the person that actually reported this misconduct and ultimately leading to the exclusion of a very, very defense-friendly witness, defense-friendly juror, or presumably a defense-friendly juror, and knowing at the same time that he was intimately involved in the prosecution of my client. That's the reason. Because he was at least within the orbit of commanding, according to Ms. McLaughlin, commanding the extensive security services over this case. And he ends up, just ironically, who knew? He ends up being the source of the information that got that juror removed. That's awfully coincidental, Your Honor. And yes, that's the foundation on which we built our argument that that shouldn't have happened. He certainly never, ever should have had any access, even in the orbit of the jurors, directly or indirectly. And the court never even inquired as to why he was the one receiving the report. Why Lieutenant Fanning, of all people, who then reports it to the court officer, who then reports it to the court, who then removes the juror. That's an awfully straight line between Lieutenant Fanning, who has an interest in this case, and the removal of a juror. That's improper in our view. And that's why we put it in the papers, and that's why we argued it the way we did. Because we were working off of extremely reasonable beliefs based on information that was provided to us at sidebar in the court's presence.
all right. So that's your answer to my question.
That's my answer. to
May
the
I have a
court's
moment
question.
to confer with counsel?
Yes.
How is this in any way like allowable? Really? How? How? I got someone we can ask. Good morning, Miss Eve. Are we home? Muted? Maybe. Eve's here, so I'm not sure she's here, but yeah. So let me just wait for her to come back. Refresh the screen. So that was very telling about Fanning. And he definitely got rid of a juror that was pro defense. He just said it. That girl was pro defense. They had to, I bet that was one of the ladies that was extremely offended when they started talking about the trooper going through the nudes. I think, remember, she was sitting there, or she was like this, and she was very angry. She was really disturbed about that, which is, she's got every right in the world to be like that. That's not who we want as police officers, obviously, right? It's insane. There's more here. There's more. Let me StreamYard's messed up. Present, share. Oh, let me get this where we gotta be.
With counsel?
Yes.
For the court this afternoon on the exculpatory Sally Port videos.
This is so
I'm
wrong.
not waiving any of our arguments in the moving papers, but in the interest of time and focus, I think it's I think it bears upon the court at this point to consider most prominently the Sally Port issue, or the Sally Port video issue. The Commonwealth, to start off with, two facts that are true. The Commonwealth cannot deny the untimely disclosure of critical exculpatory evidence. They cannot and they will not deny that untimely disclosure. And they also cannot deny that critical evidence was intentionally not some sort of mishap, but intentionally was withheld from us. So what do
Intentionally.
they do in their opposition? Most of the time they spend saying that the prosecutors themselves did not know. They had no actual knowledge. Well, they concede the unavoidable in their moving papers, which is that the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police Department both knew about the evidence and both withheld it. Conveniently, they throw much of this on the back of Michael Proctor. It was sort of to be expected. He's already damaged goods, so why not? And they also bring in a newly revealed sergeant, a sergeant by the name of D. Petro, who's already retired, gone from the police force, and who interestingly retired just 2 days after the Commonwealth's October 2024 disclosure revealing previously withheld Sally Port video.
I'm just going to ask, is he available, Mr. Brennan?
Not today, but it could be available.
I'm just curious. So he's still around.
He is, yes,
Okay.
and he's cooperative.
All right. All right, Mr. Jackson, go ahead.
Our motion illustrates that, and by the way, I'll walk through the videos that we did get and when we received them. Our motion illustrates that dismissal in this case is required because of the cumulative impact of clear-cut discovery violations, clear-cut, inexcusable Brady violations. And from a legal standpoint, the conduct in this case is so egregious, it's so pervasive, and it's so deliberate that prejudice must be presumed. We don't have to prove prejudice. It should be presumed.
Yep.
To begin, I want to start the issue by talking about the condition of Miss Reed's passenger taillight. The condition of that SUV passenger taillight at the time it was brought into the Sally Port at Canton PD is of critical importance. And that may be one of the most important facts in this entire case. It's important because we know as a fact now that not a single piece of taillight was ever recovered at 34 Fairview until after that vehicle was in the possession of Michael Proctor and the Massachusetts State Police. That is the foundation on which this entire argument is built. And it is an undisputed fact, although it wasn't undisputed for years. Other material facts that are not in dispute. The Sally Port video has been in the possession and custody and control of the Commonwealth since January 29th, 2022.
Good morning, Miss Eve.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I figured we beat up a little bit on Fanning today. A little bit of chief, you know.
I
can't
love
believe
that. I think that's a
Fanning's fingers are everywhere. Like he's in charge of the CPAC unit. He does babysitting for the juries. He's commander of a special ops of the friggin'. It's just.
But how can he do that remotely? That's what I want to know. How can he go? How can he cover the jury from a secure remote area? I don't get that.
Maybe they had a drone overhead, you know, that mob of people, you know. Let's speak about the mob of people for a second. There's not been one incident. Do you realize that? The only incident there is a guy dumped his motorcycle when he went to move it. He dumped it like right there, and he laid it right down. That was on him. Nothing to do with us. Yes, I can. But we've never had issues ever with the outside people. So what's he commanding? Like, Eve, if there's two people sitting on a park bench, there's no need to have 10 undercovers, 50 SWAT teams observing two people sitting on a bench. There's just no need for that. But yet here we are.
Well, the Commonwealth is really good, especially in Norfolk, to play dumb and
Yep.
hide under suspicion and under the radar. They've been doing it for a very long time, so they've perfected it. But now the world is watching, and that's why Fanning has kept himself out of public eye. He's good. He's really good at it, but not for long.
Have you ever been able to find his like academy records or anything of that sort? Ever in your
Yeah,
investigating stuff?
I never get responses. So I recently requested the from the executive trial court, like who was over security that day. I doubt that I'll get a response.
Okay, well, there's a lot of that going on, you know. Um, and then they said that Fanning reported that to the court officers, who then reported it to the court. So the court officers, they all involved now. They're all part of this now. All the court officers that work there.
Was it DeChico working in the court and pre-trial, and I think in the court room?
I don't know if DeChico was there, but his unit was there, the CPAC unit that he's part of the Norfolk DA's office. I mean, maybe we. How come we can't get like personnel records, like payroll records?
Well, there's a little like addition to his payroll on mass.gov that says other pay. Well, that's vague.
I
It
wonder
could
what
be anything.
that would jury babysitting. That's babysitting money.
Yeah. We'll have to. I'm waiting. They have 10 days to respond. I doubt I'll get anything, but
So, Eve, I got a question. The the footage that the Commonwealth has had since day zero, okay? They have it. If it comes out that say um they broke the tail light maybe a little more than it was broken and they get that on video, what ramifications besides obviously Karen can sue, but what ramifications do you think this will have? Do you think this will blow this whole case like out of the water big time, like stop the world?
I'd be surprised if they didn't have the feds come in with handcuffs. I mean, like there is no other way to prove corruption more so than that, in my opinion. Like that's it. It's over.
We still have it. And the thing is you're not going to fire yourself or include yourself in the indictment, right? Who does that?
Right. And who gets immunity and who gets to skirt away from justice, right? Like that's the question.
Yep. All right. So I see these different steps, right? There's charging, there's trial, there's investigation, there's initial hearing, arraignment, discovery, sentencing, and preliminary hearing. Um, investigation. Yeah, just direct evidence. It doesn't tell me anything about no. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. All right, let me show this real quick. Eve, you remember that North Carolina trooper?
Yes, I do.
He wants to jump on. Do you mind?
No, come on up.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing great. How are you today?
A little under the weather, but I'm doing pretty good, I guess.
Okay. So I'm at the justice.gov site, right? And says the steps in the federal criminal process. Step one, obviously, investigation. Then they do the charging, initial hearing, discovery, plea bargaining, preliminary hearing, pretrial, trial. Okay. So this must be the steps that the federal government use. They have direct evidence. I mean, it doesn't tell me much of anything really.
There is a document out there from 1985 that they base to this day how they do their investigations. And ironically, a lot of the stuff that they learned from was from Massachusetts corruption and Illinois.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And New York. So it's a fantastic little piece of help for the federal prosecutors to go after these public corrupt officials. And it
Um,
specifically talks about judicial corruption.
well,
They're going for the judge. The judge is the boss, the prize, the one that they need to secure to make everyone else's convictions stick.
you
Is
don't
what I'm
have
gathering.
you don't have this type of corruption in North Carolina, do you, sir?
Not that I'm aware of, but if that had happened here in North Carolina in a small city or whatever, the Attorney General's office would have handled every single piece of evidence, and they would have brought a judge in, either a retired judge from as far as west or east as you could go, and the judge in this case would not be sitting on it because it's a local case, it's a local judge. They would definitely replace that judge and brought a judge that you probably never heard of. So
Well, that's what you want, right? You want someone that's completely removed from the situation.
that's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see this federal process thing helping us at all, if I know anything.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Commonwealth having this evidence and them watching it and determining what they turn over, whether it's good for the prosecution or good for the defense? They're making this determination. Lally and Chief Rafferty. Either
Well,
one of you. Go
what,
ahead.
well, there's a lot of coincidences, in this case. There's too many to count. And the video that you really need to see of the back of the SUV, is all blurred out. I've never seen so many coincidences. The butt dials. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. I've never, and every attorney I've seen talk, they've never seen anything like this. I mean, all of a sudden, the camera that's supposed to take a video of the back of the vehicle goes out.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was the defense, being that Trooper Proctor's on leave, I'd get a subpoena from a judge and get his laptop and his computer in his office, because I can assure you he's got stuff stored on that, and I would you might find something on that, because every time I had a fatal on my digital camera, I downloaded it to my laptop and I put it in a special folder.
Mm-hmm.
So they could go and look at my laptop and see a fatality from 10 years ago or 3 years ago. And I bet you if they went and looked at some people's computers, they might be surprised what they may find. And,
Well, here's my thing. If they're claiming that camera 15 went out, well, okay, show me the log file that shows that camera 15 got disconnected and then camera 15 reconnected. Show me that log file, because there's got to be every time it makes a connection, it logs it, the time. And what other cameras does this happen to? Does it happen to camera 1? Does it happen to camera 7? This is common, right?
And this is where the IT comes in. So whomever is over that technical side of things needs to be held accountable and brought in and bordered, if you will.
right,
What happened?
right. We have we have an IT department, and I don't care if you tried to hide anything. These people are experts, and if they get hold of any laptop or computer and you tried to hide something or delete it, they will find it. I mean, we have probably 15 to 20 people in our IT department, and they know all about computers, and you're not going to trick them.
Oh, there was just something else. Damn it. Oh, when they went to that guy, the IT guy, and they went to give him the disc, and he said, "That's not my disc." He's never seen it before in his life. So the question is, what was on that disc? No one mentions it. It just goes away and
Well, that's when you subpoena some of the troopers, the lead investigator's computer. I mean, he may have it on there and try to delete it, but most people know you hit delete, it's always going to be on that hard drive.
Well, you should always be able to trace back any and everything that happens within a department, especially a government authority. There's no reason they
Well,
intentionally hid that footage. They know what happened, and the feds do too.
well, we don't have a Sally Port. And like I've said 100 times, the local police was supposed to have nothing to do with it. So I wouldn't even have towed it there anyway. I mean, that makes no sense. If a department has recused himself, why in the hell are you going to take the damn car there?
Right. If the Massachusetts State Police is the one that's going to be investigating, then everything needs to be handled through that authority and not use,
And,
Canton, who
and
is
we would tell the chief of police, get out of the way. If you try to get involved in this, you may be in trouble. We're in control of it now. So the best thing for you to do is to get out of the way and let us handle this investigation. Do I need to repeat myself? And we would have taken it over. But there's just a lot of holes in this case. Honestly, I think the ship's already sank to the bottom. I mean, we could sit here till Christmas and talk about this and talk about that. There's just so much that they should have done that they didn't do. When they went and picked up when they went and called the tow truck, I would have went over there and told the tow truck driver, don't load it up till I get there. Let me take pictures. And if they would have done that, we might not, be sitting here today talking about it.
I agree. And if you fail to do so, well,
You know,
there's going to
you're
be
not
repercussions.
right. Right now, I've done many fatals. There's no time limit on when I had to turn them in. Sometimes it was 7 days. Sometimes it was 3 weeks because I had a lot of stuff I had to do. But all of this stuff coming out after the first trial, all this new discovery and all, I'm going to tell you right now, if that happened here, the judge would be extremely mad, and the attorney general's office would be, if they held it from the defense, which obviously they did, they would be mad. And I would not see this case going forward here with all the stuff that's come out after the trial. I mean, maybe I've had maybe 1 or 2 fatalities where I had turned my packet in and a witness called maybe a week later and said, she drove by there. So I'd meet with her and get a statement, and I'd go straight to the DA's office and give it to them. But why hide anything? I mean, it's the law. It's discovery. You have to turn everything you have over. You don't have a choice. And if you don't turn it over and they find out, you're in big trouble.
procedural misconduct, they call that, right?
Well, for us, it would be performance. It would be grossly inefficient of your conduct.
Yeah.
It would be serious enough to get 14 days off without pay or transferred or probably even fired if it hit the news media. Anytime he hits the news media and your name's in the news, it's not good.
Yeah. Like,
Oh yeah. The judge here in Texas would not play. Not only not only would you be probably in handcuffs at the end of the hearing, but the whole department would be under an investigation. Like maybe not where I'm at, but smaller counties, the citizens don't play. They will come to the courthouse and damn near burn it down. So it's just amazing to me that it has gotten this far, and it's blatantly obvious now, if you had any doubt, that Bev is in on the fix. I mean, it's so outrageous. So what do you do?
Me? Oh
Or
yeah.
anybody? I mean,
Well,
did
yeah. I
the
mean,
citizens need to just,
that's
what
why
did they
they
do?
that's why they should have brought a judge from as far away from that city that knows absolutely nobody. That's what it should. And in 100% of cases I've seen where it's high profile, the attorney general's office 100% of the time prosecuted it when it came to police, politicians. The local DA never prosecuted a high profile case where it involved a public official. It's always the attorney general's office, and it's always a judge, like I said, 100 to maybe 150 miles away that nobody knows.
yeah, but that's not the case here. So, like, Banning has his responsibility is really everything from the start to the finish of this case, right? Is that normal?
Say again.
Banning, how he was involved at the very start of the case, right? At the DA's
Right.
office, all
Right.
the way through till even to the trial. He's babysitting the jurors, right? Is
Well,
that
see, see, Tom, we don't have that down here because y'all have a state police. We have the state highway patrol, SBI, and the sheriff's department. In this case, we have bailiffs, and a lot of them are really retired troopers, but they retire and they go to work as a bailiff. The sheriff's department is in charge of all security at the courthouse.
That's how
State
it is
troopers,
here.
yeah, state troopers, hell, I would have, if I would have quit my job and went to the sheriff's department, I would probably took a $30,000 a year pay cut. But it's
right?
always the bailiffs. I don't care if it's a president on trial. It's the bailiffs. They're in charge of that courtroom. They're in charge of the metal detectors all the way up to every courtroom. The sheriff, the high sheriff controls that courthouse.
Yeah, we call it deputy sheriff. Our deputy
Correct.
sheriff's office runs all of that, and it's separate from um, the actual investigation unit of the sheriff's office. It's separate. It's a part of it, but it's separate. And if you're investigating or have any part of a criminal charge, you don't proceed in any way over that courtroom. It's separate.
Well, it may be because Massachusetts has a state police like Virginia. I don't know
Yeah.
what Virginia does, but that may be the case that the state troopers do work in the courtroom because they're a state police. I don't know. Maybe that's law. I don't know.
Yeah. So just to get, I was talking to my friend, just to get charges brought on you, the certain things that you need to satisfy, certain criteria you have to follow, it has to, in order to fit that crime you're going to be charged with. Okay? How they get and weaponize the witness intimidation, right? They mold the laws around to allow a loophole for them to be able to abuse the law. But again, with Fanning and the Karen Reed issue, it's been directed from the DA's office from the go. Okay? And it's kind of supposed to be that way. The problem is all these coincidences, all of them, even the judge at the beginning, the judge had a conflict and she went and investigated herself and determined there's no conflict because
Well,
of a study, you know?
there's too much power, I believe, when you have a district attorney's office that has all of these units. So are we to say that only Morrissey dictates how that's audited or how that's looked at, or
Time out.
where's the procedure?
Time out. I have a question for both of you guys. Is it not only ethical, is it legal if you're a public employee to have a business with your coworker doing the same thing as well as outside of the office? Because Fanning and the lady that does all the IT work for the DA's office started a company together, or they were involved with a company. They were in a company together, as well as working at the DA's office. How does that square out?
I mean, I don't know the law there, but it's a little fishy. Like, why would you get into a business relationship with a coworker who has um, the power to review evidence and things like that? I mean, I don't know if it's illegal necessarily, but it puts a new spin on it. And
So,
so,
Eve, I wonder if you can FOIA if the DA's office ever hired that company.
right.
Yes,
I need to,
yes,
you know what I'll
because
do?
it would,
I'll
yes,
go look.
because it would be
Go ahead.
paid through the county or the city. Yes, you can FOIA that. Any money, any money that's spent from a city or county is public record,
Mm-hmm.
or state for
So,
that matter.
Ooh, and the
so
liability would then shift to that company, but now it's dissolved. I see what you're saying, Tom.
yeah.
I see that I'm an accountant and I kind of know the way this goes. Um,
Talk,
and if it's dissolved,
isn't
you
that
would just go
slick?
straight to Colleen or whoever owned it, Fanning. You would just go sue them. But I don't know about the criminal side of it.
They declared Chapter 11. It's all over.
Wow. Wow, Fanning, you're you're extra.
Isn't
Can't
that
wait to see you go down, dude.
isn't that just extra special? But I think that's their out, Eve. You know what I'm saying? I think that's their exit.
But that's a lot of forethought very early on. I mean, that's insane.
You think this is their first rodeo? Do either one of you think
Absolutely
this is
not.
the first time this has happened?
Sandra Birchmore.
Yeah. Craig Case.
It would be interesting to see what they did with that company then.
Yeah. First we're hearing about it. This just came up yesterday. Somebody found it yesterday, and I'm like, no, it's got to be a different John Fanning, because he's not the only John Fanning, right?
I think that it would be highly
Yeah.
rare to have another John Fanning that just so happens to work with Colleen Crawford have a
It,
business.
and the addresses are exactly where each person lives. So it's them. And I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to have a working relationship with your coworkers in the same thing that you're doing as your job title. I mean, this is I don't think this is their first one. I think this has happened before. And how do we go back, right, and look and see what they did in the past? Because there's a lot more stuff that they've done.
You know what's interesting? I think that now that Hank has basically handed over the evidence of more corruption with this footage, it's starting to look like they're going to have to start pointing fingers at each other at who is responsible initially for this footage
Right.
manipulation. I'm excited to see who squeals on who, if I'm honest.
The whole thing is just, it's just, again, you can't make this up, right? It's insane. So you guys think we'll have a good trial, bad trial, if it even gets there?
I'd really be shocked if Bev doesn't dismiss this case. I mean, she's kind of in a rock and a hard place, finally.
Put herself there.
Of course, but I don't see this going well for her at all. I mean, if you look up RICO and you look at how they prosecute judges, you don't have to have money. Whatever the value is, which in this case would be protecting the McAlberts, that's a value to her. And if they can prove it, then that's RICO.
Wow. Look at this. My wife does legal nurse consulting. Lawyers won't hire her, and right, they won't hire her for a 250 to 500-mile radius. She only does work far away from where she does, so there's no conflicts. That is absolutely the right thing to do. It just removes any question of a doubt. There isn't any, because it's the nurse can look at it objectively. You know,
Who did
uh,
they say
I just find
was responsible for the footage initially, like
it was just,
IT?
it was on someone's desk with a sticky note. Remember Alice in Wonderland? Eat me. Remember?
Yeah, and they don't report who it was. They just so happened to magically get this
Just
footage.
happened.
Fairy
The
dust,
gnome.
boom, it's there.
Yep, the gnomes did it. Like there's no chain of custody whatsoever on anything, and that's kind of an issue.
Well,
Uh,
whoever retired in the last 3 years,
right?
I mean, that's pretty much your red flags right there, I would assume.
And did I hear that Wanless has nothing to do with this now? He didn't touch the car. Is that what I'm hearing? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, Aiden said that that was a lie from Sean last
Wow.
night.
Okay, but I thought someone said that they saw the car inside getting fixed. Huh. I don't know. Either way, I I I don't know how they're gonna get out of this trial. There's no way because everything is gonna be sidebarred, which again, like last time, is you can only ask this question in this way, and you can't get to the answer because we're not gonna let you. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
if,
still
if
think Hank's a plant.
that, but listen, think about it, Bev. Right? She can't throw the case out. That means she's screwed up, and she lets it go forward. It's gonna show that she screwed up.
Well, did you know that in public corruption cases with judges, that they will sometimes plant special prosecutors because of the ethical board, that the bar of overseers? They have to investigate any kind of judicial misconduct of the district attorney's office, and sometimes the special prosecutor that comes in just so happens to have a lot of experience in the federal government. Now, from
Boy,
what I understand, Spanky does,
just a little
right?
bit. You're absolutely right, Eve. He sure does.
And
Huh.
now we have footage, don't we?
Yeah. We've had that. But Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
And we're getting all of this evidence that was never brought before, even though it's egregious and tampered and all of that stuff. It's still very interesting that it's
I
coming out.
I just don't understand how they can take any evidence and give it to the defense after the fact. Like, it couldn't have just come up today or yesterday or the day before. It had to happen within a week. The footage, right? When you investigated a car crash, what was your time frame on getting footage of it? Within 12 hours?
No, immediately.
Every camera, give me all the footage right now.
Well, no. I misunderstood your question. No. I took pictures, and you'd have to talk to people, investigate it. I
Right.
really didn't have a time frame, but it wouldn't be, any more than say 3 or 4 days.
So like a week at a maximum. So you would probably send someone to go get the
At
data.
the very most.
Yeah. So I mean, how do we get log records of where Proctor was? We don't. We don't have none of that stuff. We don't know what he did to work on the case, really. Banning.
Well, something I thought about. Something I thought about. And we just had put on our cars about 3 years ago. I wonder if they had GPSs on those patrol cars.
But if they're all newer, they should have all of them. Yep.
Yeah, because that stays in there a long time, and you can see where that patrol car was, where it went, how long it stayed there, the whole 9 yards.
I think
Yep.
they have to. I think that's a rule. I know in Texas you do. You have to be able to track
That's
where your
part of
officers are.
federal grant. Part of a federal grant, I think, that does that for law enforcement purposes in the bigger picture. If they ever need to commandeer them, they can control them better with GPS and stuff like that. Huh.
Well, like for instance, dispatch is able to see where police are headed to you, right? So that would make you think,
Right.
okay, they have that ability.
Yes.
That's right.
But if they use their personal cars, that's what they did when they went to go scoop her vehicle. They used their personal vehicle to drive there on purpose.
They used their personal cars.
Yes, sir.
I forgot about that. They sure did.
Amazing. And then I hear, but they said they got Chloe, and they got an impression of Chloe's dog bite, of his dog's mouth. They can't prove it's the same dog. No way. Good luck with that one, Hank. What else? Yes.
Tom, did you say when did they get their personal vehicles? That's the first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah. They got the call. I don't know what time it was. Maybe 11 o'clock, I think. And then by like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, it was 4:30. They went and took her vehicle, and they said they picked it up at 5:30 when they really picked it up at 4:30. And they drove they drove together in Sergeant Buchanan's pickup truck, his personal vehicle. He drove to Karen's house. They called the tow truck on the way to Karen's house. They called the local police department on the way to Karen's house. So when they got there, they're waiting at the top of the street in Buchanan's pickup truck. He's got an F-150. And they waited for the cop, the local cop. Barrows, he showed up. They went to the house. Tow truck got there. put the car on the tow truck and left.
Okay.
But yeah, they used a personal vehicle because they said the snow was like Armageddon. When the reality is, I mean, the roads were plowed. It was snowing. Not a big deal. We go through it. We go through it all the time. I mean, we're in New England. We're used to freaking snow, right?
Well, they can, let's just say the federal government has the ability, and I'm sure they do, to go back in time and get the geo fencing warrant, okay, because they're investigating the corruption there. They're going to be able to know where they're at with their cell phones, I'm sure. So they don't really necessarily have to have GPS, but they have ways to
You
track where
guys,
everyone was.
yeah, you guys are freaking awesome. Sergeant Buchanan testified earlier that he used his personal four-wheel drive truck to meet Proctor at the Canton Police Department around 9:15 a.m. on January 29th. Pretty cool. So you guys are the freaking bomb.
Mm.
Have you guys ever seen any case out there that's been crowd surfed or crowd funded or crowd investigated like this has?
No, I have not.
Eve, you've seen stuff.
I have, but not to this degree,
I mean,
not on this level.
when they were talking in court, man, whenever Hank is talking, everyone's out there and the Google machine's just chewing. Wow.
Well, the problem I had was, getting a personal vehicle. You don't have all your equipment in there. Look, the body's there. The body's not going anywhere. We would have fatalities and guys would go 120 miles an hour. Some of them got in wrecks and they said, look, the body's not going anywhere. Go the
Right.
speed limit. Go the speed limit. You got plenty of time to get there. So we would have never drove our personal.
Cutting out. Oh, you there?
I said
I'm out
we
of
would have never. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
I said we would have never drove our personal vehicle there because we have our equipment in our patrol cars.
Right. Yeah. And the way they're talking about the snow, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Well, we have snow tires that we put on.
The snow wasn't even that bad. That's the funny thing. I mean, it
It
snows a
wasn't.
lot here, so it's just a typical snowstorm, not a big deal. But all right, listen, you guys, we have all next week. If you guys aren't busy, if you want to come on next week, all next week's open. If you want to come hang out, either one of you guys.
Sounds
Absolutely.
good. I appreciate you having me up, and y'all have a good day. Appreciate you
It's
letting me up.
Friday. Listen, it's Friday. Expect some documents today. They dump all the stuff on a Friday, so keep looking for the documents. I'm sure they'll be throwing stuff out there later on, right?
All right. All
right,
righty.
listen.
Y'all have a good day.
Have a great day. Be safe. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Eve,
Hello.
we miss you.
I'm so glad that I got to come up today. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, dear. You're great. We love you. We love you very much.
I just want to say that Helena, she needs to go and speak to the citizens of Canton, like she said during her meeting in August of 2023. Are you still gonna take us up on that offer, or what? Because I'm getting a PO box because I want to talk to Helena.
I know, huh? We all should move to Canton and take over. What do you think? I think that'd be good.
I bet she's gonna say
Everybody,
no comment.
we're all moving to Cantonite. We're all gonna be Cantonites. We're all moving to Canton. Take over the town. We'll fix that thing one way or the other. All right, Eve. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
You too, dear. All right. All right, everybody. You all you all have a great weekend. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, free Karen Reed. If you guys know of anything, if you do some research and you have any information, you can send it to cputom@gmail.com. Oh my God, member. You guys are awesome. All right, what are we going for? Alma, new member. Thank you very much. Yeah, I got the link. He got the link. We have Mike. Mike's on vacation, taking some time, hanging out, relaxing. This is not easy work, people. This is not easy work. All right, guys. Glenn, always nice to see you. And where's Sherry? Sherry's still here. Nice to talk to her. Mary's here. Yes, Sammy. Thank you. Oh, next week, all week, right? We're raising money. I have tickets to the Bruins game, and I got some really, really nice Bruins gear that we're throwing in. Maybe a little bit of spending money to go to the game. Trying to make a package so that you can go to the game and enjoy it. Tickets are $10. And if you want a chance to enter, this isn't just a Bruins game. Trying to make this an experience for you guys. You know, for whoever wins, trying to up it, make it nicer. Maybe get an Uber that we don't gonna drive into Boston, not gonna pay for parking. Take it, pick you like a taxi, pick you up, bring you into the game, bring you wherever you want, come home, you're good to go, right? So if you would like to enter the Bruins ticket giveaway, you need to make a donation of $10. Okay? But I don't know yet where it's going. I'm still working on it. So save your money. And maybe you know what I'm gonna do? I'll make a little video, right? A little short. I can put it out there on this. So you're all gonna get another notification when I get the power back. The wind blew and the lights flashed and the internet and everything went down. Full electricity. I'll make a little video of what you're gonna get and the little package and tell you where the money's gonna go and what you need to do in order to enter the drawing. It's not just tickets, everybody. This is an experience you're gonna get. So if it works out, maybe we'll do another one. And if that works out, we'll do another one. Oh, by the way, I need to put this out there. I had, oh my God, Denise. Thank you very much, Denise. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna make a video, little clip of what gonna be entailed, and I'll put that out there. So yeah, I'm trying to make it pretty good, the experience. So save the $10. Watch for the video that's gonna come out. It's for the Bruins tickets, St. Patrick's Day, right? The 17th, Boston Garden. So try and make the whole package. Get you right in, good to go. So save your $10, and when you're gonna enter it, you just need to put Bruins tickets. That's it, and we'll take care of the rest. But either way, everyone have a good weekend. Heads up. Yes. Thank you, Amanda, and you gotta thank all the mods. The mods do a lot, a wicked lot, like a lot. Sherry, thank you for being here again. I can't do this without you guys watching. You know, it's really hard sometimes. Just keep going though, right? Just keep going. Yeah. That's, yep. Glenn Lake, thank you for being here. Leslie, Kim, Mark, thank you for helping out as always. Love it, love it, love it. You guys are great. So, save your $10 pretty soon. I'm gonna make a little video and I'm gonna put it all together and we're gonna raise some money for a good cause. All right, guys. I know you guys can do this, and I'm gonna keep pushing it. Giddy up. So, everyone, have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. I hope you all safe. Friday, no meat. Remember that. If you know, you know. All right, everyone, have a great day. Have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday morning. Bye bye.